Okay, so for the next module that we will be discussing is the TOWS matrix naman tayo. Actually, TOWS matrix is very much same with SWOT analysis. It also involves identifying strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So ano nga ba ang TOWS matrix natin? Or paano tayo ngayon magfo-formulate ng strategy using the TOWS matrix? So first, let's define the matrix that we are talking about. TOWS, or the SWOT matrix, is an analysis tool for evaluating corporate situations. However, it is also used to generate strategies. The tool illustrates how the external factors, which is the opportunities and threats, facing an organization can be matched to its strength and weakness. This matching can result into 4 possible sets of alternative strategies, and it also forces managers to create various kinds of growth and retention strategy. It can also help generate corporate and business level strategies. So mainly, when we talk about the TOWS matrix, yes, the TOWS or the SWOT matrix is used to identify or to evaluate the current corporate situation, kung ano nga ba yung strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats ng isang kumpanya. However, it is also used to generate strategies. And how? Paano ka mag-generate ng strategies using the SWOT analysis na alam ninyo? Paano to makakatulong mag-generate ng strategy sa atin? With the use of the TOWS matrix or the SWOT matrix, ang gagawin natin is you will mix and match the external factors to the internal factors. I-match nyo ngayon yung mga opportunities and threats doon sa strengths and weaknesses natin para malaman natin kung anong klaseng strategy ang pwede nating magawa or kung anong klase ang dapat nating gawin in order to take advantage of certain opportunities or to take advantage of certain threats, and so on and so forth. So, very simple lang din naman ang isang TOWS matrix. Hindi siya masyadong mahirap din intindihin, lalong-lalo na kung alam ninyo kung paano mag-generate ng maayos na SWOT analysis. So now, siguro nakikita ninyo kung gaano ka-importante sa isang business ang SWOT analysis. Identifying the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and threats can really help us identify what kinds of strategy we should implement and what kinds of strategy we should focus on para sa ating company. So, alam nyo na ngayon ang bigat ng SWOT analysis. Dati siguro, napakasimple lang para sa inyo ang SWOT analysis. You will just identify strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Pero ngayon, we are putting it into use. Paano nga ba ginagamit ng maayos ang SWOT analysis at saan ito ginagamit at ano ang pinaka-use nito? And this is one of the uses, the TOWS matrix. So without further ado, let's see how it goes. With the TOWS matrix, kailangan nyo ngayon gumawa ng isang 9-cell table tulad ng ginawa natin with the IE matrix, 9 cells, ibig sabihin 9 boxes or 9 squares. At kailangan ganito ang format ng TOWS analysis ninyo. It's a little bit different with the SWOT. So dito sa top, the first 3 dito sa first row na meron tayo, we will input here our strength and weakness. Doon sa second and third cells ng first row. And then sa opportunities and threats naman, we will identify them to the second and third cells dun sa first column natin. So ganyan ang paggawa ng isang maayos na TOWS matrix. And then parang nakikita nyo naman din siguro kung paano mag-mix and match, 'di ba? Kumbaga, the strengths and opportunities, pag nag-meet sila, it is the SO strategy. It means to say that generates strategies here that uses the strengths to take advantage of opportunities. Weakness and opportunities naman, we will come up with WO strategies. And WO strategies are taking advantage of opportunities by overcoming weaknesses. So those are the difference, no? Sa SO strategies, you will take advantage of opportunities by using your strengths. Pag WO strategies naman, you will take advantage of opportunities by overcoming weaknesses. So by identifying the weakness, alam nyo ngayon kung ano ang problema ng company ninyo. So you have to overcome these weaknesses in order to take advantage of the given opportunities. Same thing with same thing ang gagawin natin, i-combine lang din natin ang strength with threats naman. ST strategies generate strategies here that uses strengths to avoid threats. And WT strategies generate strategies here that minimize weakness and avoid threats. So himay-himayin ulit natin. ST strategies, ito yung mga strategies na you will use your strengths in order to avoid the threats. Gagamitin mo ngayon ang kakayahan ng inyong company para makaiwas doon sa mga threats or outside factors na that will be dangerous for our company. And for the WT strategies naman, you will generate strategies to minimize the weakness and to avoid threats. Minimize weakness, ibig sabihin nga, since it is a weakness, you have to find solution, you have to find remedy. So you have to minimize the weakness while avoiding the threats. So ito yung paggawa ng TOWS matrix natin. Medyo matrabaho siya, yes, pero it will be very beneficial. Why? Kasi by first identifying the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and threats, meron ka ngayong specific details na. Alam mo ngayon yung specific na standing ng company mo. Hindi lang basta-basta na, okay, we are doing well, let's move forward. Very vague, very general, walang specific details. Pero by doing the SWOT analysis first, you can now identify specifically kung ano yung strength ng company mo, kung ano yung weaknesses ng company mo, opportunities ng industry, and threats ng industry. So, marami ka ngayong alam na detailed, specific information, so you can generate strategies easily. Mas madali ka ngayon makakapag-generate ng strategies kasi magbi-mix and match ka lang ng strength and opportunity, ng weakness or opportunity, weakness, strength, or strength and weakness, threat, or strength and threat. Parang nagbi-mix and match ka lang ngayon. So alam mo ngayon ng mas maayos, mas madali ka ngayon makakapag-generate ng plans. So now let's move further kung ano nga ba yung mga strategies na to, or yung 4 categories natin. The first we have is the strength opportunity strategies. These are generated by thinking of ways in which a company or business unit could use its strengths to take advantage of opportunity. This is also known as the Maxi strategy. Ibig sabihin ng Maxi, so it is positive. So Maxi, it is both positive. You are trying to take advantage of positive opportunities by using the strengths of your company. This exhibits an attacking strategy. Of course, it is attacking strategy kasi you are utilizing your strengths, yung kakayahan or yung specialty ng companies mo in order to take advantage of opportunities. So of course, this kind of strategy is forward integration. You are attacking, you are moving forward, you are taking risks. Hindi ka nagtitake ng defensive formation to defend your current position. You are trying to move forward. Ayan, nakalagay dito, an example is an organization with a strong brand can use that strength to maximize profit in new markets that are booming. So, kaya ngayon, ito, ang sinasabi dito, an example is market penetration. Itong sinasabi dito na example. You can now do a market penetration kasi you are utilizing your strength na malakas ang brand mo. Kaya mo ngayon sumubok na i-venture out or i-penetrate ang bagong market in order to maximize profits. So that is an example of Maximini Strategy or SO strategies. Next we have is the strength threat strategies or ST. So tulad ng sabi natin, you will avoid the threats by using the company's strengths. This is known as the Maximini Strategy. So Maxi is positive, Mini is negative since we are dealing with threat, a negative external factor. Ngayon, this one naman is a defensive strategy. Of course, if you are trying to avoid threats, ibig sabihin you are taking a defensive stance. You are trying to maintain your current position. You are trying to protect the current status of your company. You are trying to avoid threats by utilizing the company's strength. Nakalagay dito, an example of this is using its flagship product, Chicken Joy. Jollibee was able to sell oversupply of chicken products by offering it as pre-packed food that would otherwise be wasted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, ang threat dito is yung COVID-19 pandemic and yung strength naman dito is yung flagship product nila na Chicken Joy. Ngayon, paano ano ngayon ang strategy na kailangan nilang i-come up in order to avoid the threat of COVID-19 pandemic? Ang ginawa ni Jollibee, nagbenta sila ngayon ng mga pre-packed foods nila. Nagbenta sila ngayon ng mga marinated products nila, ng mga frozen products na binenta nila sa mga market, binenta nila sa kanilang individual stores just to compensate the supply of their chicken products. So yun yung parang ginawa na lang strategy in order to avoid the threat of COVID-19 pandemic. Ginawa nila, ni-utilize nila yung strength nila, yung pinakasikat nilang product na yung chicken nila, ni-utilize nila yung strength na yun in order to avoid the threat of COVID-19 pandemic. So that is the Maximini Strategy. Now, we are moving forward with WO strategies or weakness opportunity strategies. Dito naman, you are trying to take advantage of opportunities by overcoming weaknesses. So, by identifying your own weakness, alam mo ngayon kung ano yung kailangan mong baguhin sa company mo. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, 'di ba? Weaknesses, hindi siya particularly kahinaan. If you can identify the flaws of your company, mas madali ka ngayon makakapag-develop, mas madali ka ngayon makakapag-grow. Parang sa tao lang din yan. Kung kaya nyong aminin yung pagkakamali ninyo, kung kaya nyong alamin sa sarili ninyo kung ano yung mga kailangang baguhin, kung ano yung mga mali sa buhay ninyo, if you can identify those things, you have this chance to grow. Mas kaya mo ngayong mag-grow into a better person kasi alam mo na ngayon yung mga mali sa sarili mo. Parang ganun lang din dito sa natin, sa WO strategies or what we call the mini maxi strategy. So mini naman ang nauna ngayon kasi weakness, it's a negative internal factor. Maxi naman is opportunities at a positive external factor. Kaya siya mini maxi strategy. This also identifies the weaknesses that can hinder to take advantage of opportunities. Its aim is to build strengths for attacking opportunities. So, nagigets nyo, no? So, by identifying your weaknesses, alam mo ngayon kung ano yung kailangan mong gawin para maremedyohan yung weaknesses ng company mo. And by looking for remedies to solve your weaknesses, unti-unti ka ngayon nagkakaroon ng strength. Unti-unti ka ngayon nagkakaroon ng positive internal factors para makalaban or para ma-take advantage mo yung opportunities natin. So that is the mini maxi strategy. You are trying to take advantage of opportunities by overcoming your weaknesses. Nakalagay dito, for example, a company has a large pool of cash assets but would belong to industries where the COVID-19 pandemic might hit hard. Excuse me. It can use its cash to outsource products it can otherwise sell that is essential in the ongoing circumstance. So for example, yung company mo, marami siyang pera or yung cash asset natin. Marami siyang pera na nakalaan para doon sa mga ibang business ventures mo or sa ibang operations mo. Kaso, yung operations na yon ay naapektuhan ng COVID-19 pandemic. Naapektuhan siya ng COVID-19 pandemic. So, ano ngayon yung pwedeng gawin ng company mo doon sa large cash asset niya na nakatenga lang? Pwede mo ngayon gawin is gagamitin mo yon to outsource products na pwede mong ibenta na essential doon sa ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So kung makikita ninyo, there are companies right now na bigla-bigla na lang nagbubukas na nagbenta ng mga PPE. Like say for example, yung merong mga alteration company or mga clothing brands na since pag mag-shop kasi ang mga tao sa mga clothing brands, 'di ba, mataas ang infection rate. So imbes na mag-open sila, nag-close na lang sila. So yung pera dapat na ilalaan nila to operate those physical stores, ginawa na lang nila is naghanap sila ng paraan para mag-produce ng mga PPE products or mag-produce ng mga face mask, nag-produce ng mga equipments na makakalaban or very essential for the COVID-19 pandemic. So yun lang naman yung para nakikita ko na pinaka pwedeng example ng mini maxi strategy. Now, let's go with WT strategies or the weakness and threat strategies. Weakness and threat strategies. Sorry, medyo sinisipon ako. Weakness and threat strategies naman, these are defensive strategies aiming to minimize weakness and avoid threats. So kung yung natin kanina doon sa WO strategy is you are trying to take advantage of opportunities by minimizing weaknesses. Here naman, you are trying to minimize weakness and avoid threats. This is known as the mini strategy since both of them are negative internal factor, weakness, and negative external factor, which is a threat. So mini strategy siya. This also identifies the vulnerable points of the company where threats can make more impact. So by knowing your weaknesses and by knowing your threats, alam mo ngayon kung paano maapektuhan ng threat na yon yung company mo. Makikita mo na, okay, this threat is very kung maapektuhan man tayo ng threat na ito, very crucial ito kasi mahina tayo sa ganitong field. Parang ganon ang sinasabi ng mini strategies natin. So strategies made here are for building strengths to help defend the organization. Most of the time, strategies made here are to help prepare the worst for the organization, such as liquidation. So, parang dito sa mini strategy natin, you are trying to prepare for the worst case scenario. Parang naghahanap ka ngayon ng strategies mo in order to to try to come up with ways on how to face or how to challenge a certain threat. So by minimizing weaknesses, di ba sabi natin kanina, if you will know your weakness, if you can identify your weaknesses, you can then find ways to remedy the weakness to convert it into a strength. So kung ang strategy mo is by minimizing weaknesses, you are also building strength at the same time. And if you are building strength, you are trying to defend the organization. So defensive strategy din siya. Now, let's move forward. I hope that's clear with everyone, no? Yung Maxi-Maxi, Maximini, Mini-Maxi, and Mini-Mini strategies natin. Medyo nakakalito. Tongue twister din siya. Pero, mas madali kasing intindihin pag gano'n na lang. Now, let's move forward with how to develop a TOWS matrix. Ayan. So, in order to develop a TOWS matrix, the IFE and EFE matrix are needed to be reviewed along with the initial SWOT analysis. These are the steps needed to develop a TOWS matrix. So, ano nga ba ang gagawin natin? The first thing that you should do is to consider the factors listed doon sa IFE and EFE matrices ninyo. Review the factors used in these matrices along with the ones from the SWOT analysis in order to know whether there are factors needed to be reconsidered, to be added, removed, or replaced. So, kailangan muna, in many kinds of strategies, ang kailangan talaga muna natin is to make sure if these factors na nakalagay sa SWOT analysis and nakalagay sa IFE, EFE matrix natin can be considered as really the factors doon sa company ninyo. Kailangan ba natin magdagdag ng factors? Kailangan ba natin magbawas? Or kailangan nating baguhin yung factors na nakalagay doon sa SWOT and IFE matrix natin? Now next, you have to do a 9-cell table or 9-cell matrix and place the external and internal factors on the axis. Tulad na sinabi natin kanina, sa strength, sa x-axis or horizontal, top row natin, the first row, strength and weakness, and then first column, opportunities and threats naman sa y-axis or yung patayo, columns. Next, in the cells for external factor, write down the opportunities and threats. Important. Tapos, ang gagawin nyo, ililabel nyo sila ng O1, O2, O3 respectively. Opportunity 1, Opportunity 2, and Opportunity 3. Same with threats, T1, T2, and T3. Threat 1, Threat 2, and Threat 3. Same with strength and weakness. You will also label them as, first yun nga, ililista mo sila, i-write down mo sila, and you will label them as S1, 2, 3 as strength 1, strength 2, and strength 3, and W1, W2, W3 as weakness 1, weakness 2, and weakness 3. Ngayon, bakit tayo nagle-label ng ganon sa ating strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat? Para mas madali ka ngayon mag-mix and match. Diba sabi natin kanina, you are just trying to mix and match strengths with opportunity, strength with threat, weakness with opportunity, and weakness with threat. You are just trying to mix and match them para makakome up ka ngayon ng strategies na kailangan mo. So example, ayan ang example natin, isang TOWS matrix. Let's look for an example here. Let's say for example, eto. By sharing your strength. Teka, ba't parang baliktad to? nasa columns ang strength and weakness. Anyhow, pagbaliktarin nyo na lang sila pag gagawa kayo. Now, let's do this. Internal strength nakalagay dito. Let's try to see S3. Strength 3, which is successful entrepreneurs, and S6, having capital for investment. Opportunity 4, regulations and improvements in energy and textile sector. So ito yung opportunity na gagamitan natin. Regulations and improvements in energy and textile sectors. Tapos yung strength na gagamitan natin is successful entrepreneurship sa KIPAS group and having capital for investment. So magagaling yung entrepreneurs ng business group na ito, and malalaki din or meron silang capital for investment. And then the opportunity is the regulations and improvement in energy and textile sector. Kung ipagsasama natin itong mga strength and opportunities na to, we can come up with SO strategy or yung Maximini Strategy. We can now open a business development and planning department. So since meron tayong opportunity to expand into the energy and textile sector, meron tayong opportunity na gano'n, and we have the strength na magagaling ang entrepreneurs natin, and meron tayong capital, kaya natin ngayon gumawa ng isang business development and planning department. Since meron tayong magagaling na entrepreneurs and meron tayong capital for venturing forward for future investment, tas may nakita ka na opportunity na okay, maganda ang regulation and improvement ng energy and textile sector, pwede natin ngayon i-penetrate yung market na yun. We can do a market penetration doon sa energy and textile sector kasi meron tayong successful entrepreneurs with S3 and successful and having a capital for investment doon sa S6. By combining those opportunities, we now have this SO or Maximini Strategy na opening a business development and planning department. So yun yung parang isa sa mga ways on how you can utilize the strength to take advantage of opportunities. Punta naman tayo doon sa ST or strength and threat. Let's say for example, tayo ay ang strength natin is meron tayong 26 years experience in the textile sector. So ibig sabihin meron tayong experts na tayo sa textile and sector industry. Tapos meron tayong threat na increasing customer expectation. So ibig sabihin yung market natin pala, tumataas yung expectations nila doon sa quality ng textile na pinoproduce natin. Pero, since tayo ay magagaling na sa textile industry, since we have 26 years of experience nakalagay sa S2, kaya natin ngayon mag-open ng Research and Development Department or the R&D Department in order for us to have a product development. Kasi nga, meron tayong threat na increasing customer expectation, T1. Increasing customer expectation meaning nag-expect sila ng mas magandang produkto galing sa atin. Pero since tayo ay sobrang bihasa na or professional na doon sa industriya ng textile sectors, pero tayo ngayon gumawa ng isang R&D department para ma-develop natin ang ating products, para ma-take advantage natin or para makalaban natin yung threat na increasing customer expectation. So we use the strength that we have. Ang strength natin dito is yung 26 years of experience in textile sector or S2. We use this particular strength in order to overcome the threat of increasing customer expectation. And ang strategy ngayon na naisip natin is by opening a Research and Development Department. Nakalagay din dito, 'di ba? S2 and T1. So ibig sabihin, etong dalawang to, yung pinagsama nila para maka-come up sa strategy na ito. I hope na i-gets nyo to, ha? Di ko kasi matatanong kayo kung na-gets ninyo yung sinasabi ko, pero I really hope na naiintindihan naman ninyo kahit papaano. Next, we're going with the WO strategies or the weakness and opportunity. Di ba nga pag weakness and opportunity, we are trying to take advantage of opportunities by minimizing our weaknesses. So, sinusubukan natin ngayon remedyohan yung weaknesses natin para ma-take advantage natin yung mga opportunities na nakalagay dito. Now, let's see. Let's see, for example, yung ating first WO strategy na nakalagay dito. Sabi, W1, W2, and W3. Ang W1 natin is lack of human resource management. W2, insufficient expert workers. W3, lack of performance measurement. So W1, 2, and 3 is all focused doon sa human labor natin. It's all focused doon sa kakayahan ng ating human resource. So sabi dito, our company, the KIPAS Group, lack human resource management. We also lack expert workers, and we lack performance measurements. Now, paano natin ngayon i-minimize ito in order for us to take advantage of an opportunity? Ang opportunity na nakita natin dito na pwede natin i-take advantage by minimizing these three weaknesses is opportunity number 3, which is the removal of quotas if used well. So, ibig sabihin, ngayon, wala nang quota. Parang hindi na kasi 'di ba ang quota kasi guys, you have to meet specific quotas in order for you to consider na tapos na yung trabaho mo. Example dito sa mga jeepney drivers or taxi drivers natin, meron silang quota na amount. Tapos pag na-reach nila yung quota na yon, pwede na silang magpahinga or pwede na silang gumarahe or pwede pa silang mag-drive, tapos yung kikitain nila beyond the quota is sa kanila na. So kung wala ng quota, kung wala na tong hindrance sa mga isip ng trabahador na okay, kailangan ko pang magpagod, kailangan ko pang magpursige, magtrabaho ng maayos, kailangan ko i-meet ang quota ko. Kung wala na yon, gagaan ngayon yung pakiramdam ng ating mga trabahador. So we can now have this strategy na we can improve the capabilities of human resource department. So kung wala na yung negative connotation sa mga trabahador natin na kailangan i-meet ang mga quota, they can now work at their own pace. Pwede na sila ngayon magtrabaho ayon sa kakayahan nila. Wala na yung expectation na kailangan nilang i-meet. So, we can now improve the human resource department if the removal of quota will be used well. I hope na-gets din nyo yun kahit papano. So, by utilizing or by identifying the weakness na alam natin na insufficient expert workers, lack of performance measurements, and lack of human resource management, tapos merong opportunity na, okay, wala na palang kailangan na quota sa ating operations. Ngayon, tataas ang moral ng ating human resource, tataas ang kanilang quality of performance. Kaya ngayon, we can improve the capabilities of the human resource department. Wala na kasing hindrance. Wala na naglilimit sa kanila. So, ang ginawa natin dito is in-identify muna natin yung mga weakness natin na pwede nating gamitin in order to overcome or to take advantage of certain opportunities. In this case, ang sinusubukan natin i-minimize na weakness is yung weakness 1, 2, and 3, which is all about human resource. So we are trying to develop our human resource management in order to take advantage of the opportunity na removal of quota. And we will do it by implementing this strategy na improving the capabilities of human resource department. So, meron tayong, I hope na-gets ninyo, no? Meron tayong in-identify na weaknesses. Kailangan natin ito ngayon ayusin, kailangan nating remedyohan para ma-take advantage natin yung opportunity number 3 na removal of quotas. Next, we will identify naman yung WT natin or yung weakness and threat or the mini strategies. Let's have here the example of the number 2 strategy, which is joint venture with Asian firms. Nakalagay dito W8 and T6. W8 or weakness number 8 is lack of strong competition, and T6 naman is losing market share in domestic and foreign markets. So, sa WT strategies or mini strategies, 'di ba? We are trying to remedy, we are trying to minimize certain weaknesses in order for us to avoid threats. So nakalagay dito, lack of strong competition. Kailangan natin ngayon remedyohan ito para hindi tayo maapektuhan ng threat number 6 na losing market share in domestic and foreign markets. So ibig sabihin na babawasan ang market share natin. Nababawasan ang market share, nababawasan ang pagtangkilik ng market sa products natin. So kailangan natin gumawa ng paraan para maremedyohan ito. Nakalagay dito, ang strategy na gagawin natin is joint venture with Asian firms. So wala tayong lack of strong competition. Wala tayong competition Hindi natin wala tayong malakas na kalaban. And it is a weakness, yes, kasi competition, ladies and gentlemen, is very important in every business. Kung wala kang competition, we can never consider if your business is successful. Now, kung wala tayong competition and we are losing market share in domestic and foreign markets, ano ngayon yung pwede nating gawin? Ano ngayon yung pwede nating iremedyo dito sa lack of strong competition in order to avoid the threat of losing market share or the losing market demand doon sa ating products? Here, nakalagay dito, joint venture with Asian firms. So kailangan natin ngayon by doing this strategy, the joint venture with Asian firms, by partnering up with Asian firms, ngayon mas lumalawak ang ating competition. Hindi na lang tayo ngayon ang competition natin hindi na nakabase sa current country na meron tayo. Our competition now also involves other continents, in this case Asian firms. So by partnering up with Asian firms, mas lumawak ngayon yung mga competition natin. Mas dumami yung possible competitors natin. And kung dumami yung possible competitors natin, ibig sabihin, mas dumami din ang ating market share. Kasi hindi lang tayo naka-isolate sa isang specific country, since nakipag-partner tayo sa different continents in different countries, mas dumami ngayon yung market share natin. At mas dumami ngayon ang competition natin. So I hope na gets niyo, no? By minimizing or by finding ways on how to have or by finding ways on how to minimize this weakness number 8, yung lack of strong competition. Naghanap tayo ngayon ng competition natin. So saan tayo maghahanap ng competition if dito sa bansa na meron tayo ngayon ay wala tayo kakompetensya? Makikipag-partner ka ngayon sa other countries para mas dumami ang competitors mo. And by also doing so, mas lumaki din ngayon ang market mo. Hindi ka na lang naka-isolate ang market mo sa current country na meron ka. Mas dumami ngayon yung market mo kasi nakipag-partner up ka na sa ibang firms sa ibang bansa. So that is how you can overcome a weakness in order to avoid an external threat. So, nagets nyo, no? Parang nag-mix and match lang tayo. We try to come up with ways on how to take advantage of opportunities. We try to come up with ways on how to avoid specific threats by identifying our strengths and by identifying our weaknesses. And that is TOWS matrix. This matrix for me, this matrix is the most effective matrix in coming up with strategies. Kasi, 'di ba, you identified your strengths and weakness. You identified your internal factors, and you also identified the external factors. And by doing so, alam mo ngayon kung ano yung mga strength na kailangan mo. Alam mo ngayon yung weaknesses ng company mo. And alam mo ngayon yung opportunities and threats outside. So, alam mo ngayon kung paano aatakihin yung opportunities and threats na yon. So, I hope with that in mind, mas naintindihan ninyo kung paano gawin ang TOWS matrix. And actually, if you have further questions regarding these modules, you are very much free to send me a message. And tulad din ng sabi ko, these two modules, module number 13 and module number 14, ito na ang laman ng finals natin. So with that in mind, I will now end this discussion. Thank you so much for listening and stay safe. Ingat kayo.